welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here, and if you're new here, hello. My name is Ashley. I run things here at Gal. It has been a day, but I told myself, you gotta do it. You gotta sit down and film this video because I've been wanting to film it. I've been talking about it for like the past Lord knows how many days. I think I teased it at the beginning of this week. So it needed to be done. This is not a hairstyle I'm particularly fond of, but it looks a lot better than what it looked like when it was down. Cernan has the flu, still has the flu. To be honest, isn't really getting any better. And so it's just been kind of chaos around here. But let's like wrap that little pity party up right now and jump into what this video is about. This video is going to be my 2020 goals. I just realized I didn't move Daisy's like craft cart out of the way. I usually move that, whatever. It's staying there for this video. I don't have it in me to like move it and then refilm this intro. We're talking about 2020. We're talking about 2020 goals, and I love watching these videos for a couple of reasons. One, I'm nosy, so I like to know. I just like to know, especially, you know, if they're people I'm subscribed to, I like to know what's up. I like to know kind of what they plan on working on this year. And number two, it inspires me. It gives me ideas as to maybe what some of my goals should be. It's kind of like that, oh, I never thought of that, that's a good one type of thing. So I wanted to share these with you guys for those reasons. I'm sure there are people out there that kind of want inspiration for the new year and that are also nosy like me. So let's go ahead and jump into it. I planned on talking kind of more in depth about this in this video, about my planner in this video, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm really just kind of want to focus on like what my goals are, but I did want to bring it up because this is one of my goals for the year, is to write in a planner. Consistently write in a planner and use a planner. I always tell myself, I need a planner, I need a planner. I go on Amazon, I pick out the cutest planner I can find. I use it for 2.5 weeks and then I never touch it again. So this year I got like a really good planner. This is a Fashom planner. I will leave a link for this down below. First of all, it's beautiful. Is my camera gonna focus? There we go. It's absolutely beautiful. Of course I got the mustard one. I think they had a couple colors in this, not a ton, but a couple colors. And I'll just kind of show you like the layout and kind of how I'm using it this year. So let's just flip to like, let's flip to February. So again, I showed a little bit of this in a recent vlog. So this is the end of January. So the end of January starts with like a monthly reflection, which I really like. It's kind of like you're journaling, but you don't need to have a journal. And I like that there are actual questions. It's not just like reflect on the month. You know, there are questions like, who are you grateful for this past month? Name 3 things you can improve on in the upcoming month. How are you different this past month and from between this past month and the month before it? So that's how January ends. And then you get your full layout of the next month. So this is February. There's spots where it says like this month's focus, people to see, places to go, things to learn. Obviously you have like the calendar, and then you get into the weeks. So the weeks go from Sunday to Saturday, and they're broken down by half an hour. Every day is broken down by half an hour. You can write today's focus at the top, this week's focus. At the end of the week, you can write good things that happened. This is good for me because it's detailed, but it's simple. Here's another thing that I do. After I buy the cute planner, I buy a bunch of pens so that I can color coordinate everything, and then I buy stickers. And I would love to be one of those people that's like on top of it, like can do all of that and actually write what needs to be written in a planner. I'm not. So that's another thing I told myself was I'm gonna use a planner and I'm gonna keep it simple. I'm using one pen, I'm not using any stickers, because for me, that's not the point. The point is to actually fill it out, use it, track my day, track my progress, especially when it comes to goals. So what I did is I just flipped to the back where there's a bunch of blank pages, and I wrote down all of my goals for 2020. So let's get kind of, now that we've talked about the planner, and y'all know that that is one of my goals, is to like use my planner. Let's get into the rest of my goals for 2020. So I'm just gonna kind of go down the line. I have, how many do I have here? I have like 9, 10, between 8 and 10 goals. How I kind of think of like resolutions, I don't really think of them as resolutions. I think of them as, like I've been saying, goals. So these are not things that I'm like a psychopath about, where I'm like, I have to do this year. It's more just like eye on the prize. Like these are thoughts that I want to have, you know, swimming in my head the entirety of 2020. I want these to be like focuses of mine, I guess, is kind of what I'm trying to say. Okay, so first up is maintain my weight. So I got down to what I consider to be my goal weight this year. It didn't start that way because I didn't really know how much weight I wanted to lose, but I got down to a place where I want to be, which is between 137 and 140. So fluctuating between those, like in between those 3 pounds, that's where I want to stay. I touched on this in my why keto video. I'll throw that in the cards if you haven't watched it, but it has taken me years to get down to a weight that I am happy with, that I am comfortable with, and I'm here and don't wanna muck it up. So that is a big one for me, is to just maintain. Next up, this is like in no particular order, and I literally wrote these down in my planner as they kind of like came to me. Next up is 10,000 YouTube subscribers. That's a lot. It's a lot, but I wanted to kind of aim high. I'm not gonna be disappointed if I don't hit that, but I'd rather aim high and think, you know, really positive and like reach for that 10K number than set the bar lower for myself. So I think I'm almost at about 4K. So we gonna try and get 6K more in 2020. All right, so next up is a doozy. Next up is have more patience. And I don't know where I'm gonna get it from, but I really want to work on being more patient with Daisy. This consists of being more in the moment, doing a little bit of before I react to something, because I do have a side of me that's like very laid back, very chill, very go with the flow. But I'm also a Virgo, so I have this other side that's like, oh no, hurry up, do it. I can be very impatient at times. I have a plan, I wanna execute the plan, and I want it to go accordingly as to how I see fit. And when you have a toddler, that's just not an effective strategy. So I wanna do a little bit more research, or just research in general, about like centering yourself, gaining patience. I don't know if that's going to point me in like a, like, you know, maybe I should meditate or do like breathing exercises or something like that. I don't know, I haven't researched it yet, but it's on the list, and that's a real important one for me. All right, next up is I want to finalize our Seattle plans. So I'm giving Cernan and I kind of like the next year to really finalize where we want to be in terms of moving back to Seattle. That is kind of our long-term goal. We have a very iffy like 2 to 4 year plan, but it's only what we've talked about. We have nothing on paper. We really have no like, okay, we're gonna do this, this, and this. We're gonna save this amount of money. So I want something that's a little bit more concrete. Even if it's just us writing down an outline on a sheet of paper and sticking it to the fridge, like that's enough for me. I just want a little bit more structure when it comes to that, because that's a big one for us. Like moving is a really big deal and we want to do it, and I can just see us falling into this pattern of talking about it, repeating the same things over and over and over, and then it's gonna be like 6 years later and we're still in San Diego. So I wanna get like some kind of bare bones even structure that will kind of guide us to actually taking the steps to moving back. All right, next up is I wanna do one giving back activity is what I'm calling it with Daisy. So you can kind of see like where my goals are. I feel like some of them are things that I want to continue in the new year, like maintaining weight. Some are very like, have more patience. That's kind of like a big one. And then some are like very tangible, specific goals. And I feel like that, like this is one of those. So I'm sure, I mean, there's 365 or 66 days in this year, and we can do way more than one giving back type of activity, but I'm setting this particular bar low because I don't want to overwhelm myself. I don't want to say like do 10 things and then, you know, not meet it and then be like upset with myself. So we're gonna do one giving back activity. So whether that's feeding the homeless, adopting a family at Christmas time. My parents used to do that when my sister and I were kids. We would adopt a family and then buy presents for them. So it could be something like that. Honestly, it could be something as simple as like donating things to Goodwill, but having her be a part of that entire process. So like going through her clothes, going through her toys, picking out things that she doesn't want anymore, and then knowing where they're going, why they're going there, driving to Goodwill, having some, you know, that whole thing. I want her to understand that there are people who are less fortunate than us, and there are a lot of people, you know, in this world that struggle, and we can lend a helping hand. And I want her to know that, and I feel like she's at the perfect age because she's not gonna fully understand, but she can grasp certain kind of concepts when it comes to that. So that's an important one for me as well. All right, next is also kind of just like an open-ended one, which is have money in savings at the end of the year. This year we were very fortunate, well 2019, we were very fortunate that we had money in our savings at the end of the year. That has not always been the case. It's been pretty up and down with us in terms of finances, what we're able to save. We do a lot of like, let's put it in savings, and then shit tends to hit the fan, and then we have to take money. You know, I'm sure what a lot of people go through, but that is a goal. I don't care. I honestly don't care how much it is. I don't care if it's $100. I don't care if it's $10,000. My goal is for us to just have some chunk of change in the bank, in our savings account at the end of the year. All right, 2 goals left. The next one is, I wrote, continue to put time into relationships that matter. So 2019 was a real, I feel like I have so many things I want to say about this one. 2019 was a real eye-opening year for me when it comes to like relationships and friendships. I in the past have always been the one that reaches out, always been the one to plan the get together, always been the one to, I don't want to say hound, but like text multiple times to ask to hang out or set up a play date or schedule like a girls' night or whatever. I've always been like that since like when, you know, friendships started forming in like late elementary, middle school. Like I've always been that person, and it's kind of been a thing I've been working on probably the last 3 to 5 years or so. And last year I really hit my stride, and it feels good. It feels good to not put that pressure on yourself, to not feel like you're in charge of that, and to kind of see where you are as a priority in other people's lives. And this was really eye-opening for me this past year. I frankly lost some friends that I was really close to, kind of just fell off when I stopped initiating everything. Now, I'm not saying I'm not putting like any effort in, but I don't do the whole like 90-10. Like if we are in a friendship, it doesn't need to be 50-50, but it needs to be kind of closer to 50-50 than 90-10 or 80-20, if you're picking up what I'm putting down. So I want to continue to really focus on the relationships and friendships where I see the other person putting in time and effort as well. I'm done wasting my time with people that don't have time for me. All right, we're gonna make things a little bit lighter. I could have got a lot more sassy with that last goal, but we're gonna end things on a lighter note. My last goal for 2020 is to read more. I used to love reading, more so as an adult than like when I was in like, you know, middle school, high school. Kind of college is when I hit my stride in terms of reading book after book after book. And I mean, it's you know, it's life. It's like with most things, most interests or hobbies that you have that kind of go by the wayside. It's like between being a mom and a wife and doing YouTube and all the other things that I have going on, reading has definitely taken a back seat. And I know that if I make time for it, there's time. I have time. I just have to make the time to do it. So back in like late 2017, 2018, my friend and one of my best friends that I met in Seattle, she now lives in Idaho, we kind of did like our own book club where we would take turns picking books, and we would say, okay, read, you know, until this chapter, and then we would FaceTime and kind of like, sometimes we would take notes and go over them, you know, just kind of like hash out what's happened in the book since the last time we spoke. And it was the just most like fun, rewarding, cool thing. And it held me accountable to read, but then it was also kind of neat to like get someone else's perspective, to kind of bond in that way. And I loved it. And so she actually reached out to me in December, and she was like, hey, one of my goals in 2020 is to read more. Would you want to do kind of what we used to do with our own little book club? And I said, yes, please, because it's one of my goals, and this is why we're friends. So she had the idea of going through all of Reese Witherspoon's book club books. I believe those get released monthly. I'm not 100% positive. That's kind of like her domain. She's just gonna kind of like tell me, my friend's gonna kind of just be like, here's the book we're reading now. And I told her that that was fine under one condition, which is I don't read depressing books. I pretty like staunchly only enjoy like rom-com books and like, not thriller, but more like suspense mystery books. I don't like reading books that make me sad. It's for me, reading is an escape, and I don't want to escape to somewhere depressing. That's kind of how I think about that. That's what we're doing. This is the first book on the list. It's called Such a Fun Age. I read the synopsis, and it's definitely not a book I would normally pick, but I was very interested in like the summary of this book. And I think this is also just a good challenge for me to read books that are out of my comfort zone. Now, out of my comfort zone I use loosely because I'm not like, I feel like out of your comfort zone means you're like terrified to read the book. But like, I read the synopsis and it struck a chord with me, and it's not a book I would normally pick out. So I'm really excited. Like this goal in particular has me like jazzed, because I feel like I'm just going to be finding and discovering a lot more about myself, kind of reading through these books. So I haven't decided. I think what I might do is start doing monthly favorites again, and then in that favorites video, because it will be the end of the month and we're trying to get through, you know, like the book the month it comes out, talk about the book and like what I thought about it. Not a huge whole like rundown, but just kind of like, I read this book, here are my thoughts in 2 minutes. That's kind of what I'm thinking about for that. All right, so those are my goals for 2020, and I'm really, really happy with the way I came up with these goals and the different types of goals. How many times can I say goals in this video that I came up with for this year? I feel like we have some ones that are very straightforward, like I said, that are kind of like more tangible, like 10,000 YouTube subscribers, finalizing Seattle plans, doing one thing with Daisy. Like those are definitely things where it's like, check, done. And then we have kind of the like, have more patience, read more, those ones that are a little bit more open-ended. So I'm just feeling really good. I'm excited for 2020. Honestly, this was the first time in a long time where I was really pumped for the new year, to just work on myself as a person. I feel like I get kind of caught up in the hullabaloo of like, it's, you know, countdown and New Year's, and you know, here's my one resolution that I want to meet. And I feel like this year I'm focused and I'm ready, and by doing these things, I know that I will be better than I was last year. So that's it for this video. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not subscribed, and drop me a comment down below. What are your goals this year? What are your resolutions? Do you even do that kind of thing? A lot of people are like anti, you know, setting resolutions for the new year. I would love to know. And if you have any tips or tricks or suggestions when it comes to, you know, me meeting, I don't want to say the word goal again, but I have to. These goals for 2020, I am all ears. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and I will see you on Monday with, what is happening Monday? With a grocery haul. See, this is the time of day that I've had, you guys. Just I can't do the thinking. I'll see you on Monday with the grocery haul. Bye, friends.